All right, let's do this. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live with YouTube Gaming. I'm Geoff Keighley. It has been a busy week with the announcement of the nominees for the Game Awards. We're 2 weeks away from the show, and we are so glad to be back with you guys live. It's been fun to be here every Thursday night. And joining me to talk about all things news, we've got Brandon Jones from Easy Allies.
Howdy.
Great to have you back, Jones.
Thanks for having me back. Yeah, fun show.
And then from Funhaus, I'm returning the favor. Adam and Lawrence are here. I was on their YouTube podcast, which is on YouTube if people want to go and watch. We spent a whole hour talking about all things video games and some tough questions.
You did all the hard work. You did all the heavy lifting.
Lawrence had lots of tough questions about the Game Awards.
That's right. I'm birthed in the fires of the internet. I bring that fire wherever I go, so watch out.
I was scared, but I felt accomplished walking out of that room, that I had won you guys over, hopefully. Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about some of the things in the news this week, and we're going to be a little self-serving to start things off, talking about the Game Awards, because Wednesday morning we announced the nominees for the Game Awards 2016, as chosen by a panel of 28 outlets all around the world, people giving their opinions on their favorite games of the year. You've probably seen the nominees. You can go to thegameawards.com if you want to check out what's nominated. We also announced today that Hideo Kojima is going to receive our Industry Icon Award. You may remember last year he couldn't make it to the Game Awards under some circumspect reasons. He will be with us to receive our highest honor, and we're so honored that he'll be with us in 2 weeks. But let's talk about some of the games you guys saw, the nominees. Anything that stood out to you? Any snubs? Any surprises? Let's start with you, Jones.
Dark Souls 3.
Not
for Game of the Year, yeah, surprised.
Up for Best RPG, though?
Correct.
You think it deserves a slot for
yeah, I have not. I've only dabbled in the Dark Souls 3 arts, and just through the franchise as a whole, actually.
But only 5 games
can
be up for Game of the Year. You think it should be one of the 5?
I am surprised to not see it up there. I have not played the entire game.
What would you take off the list of the top 5 to put Dark Souls 3 in there?
Oh, I'm not prepared for that question. I don't know.
You think about that while I go to Adam and Lawrence.
I'm happy Doom's on there, honestly. I think that's a game that people who played it obviously know it's the greatest first-person shooter to come out in a very long time. Really surprised to see a lot of titles on there. I think it's okay Dark Souls isn't on there. I've seen a lot of people talking about Tyranny. That's the new hotness right now, but this is the game industry, right?
Yeah.
Game comes out the week you announce the nominees, so you do what you can do.
No, and that's, like Dishonored just came out. Some people thought that maybe should be in there for Game of the Year because it's getting a lot of, great attention, and a lot of people were wondering about like Final Fantasy, which is coming out at the end of the month, but that wasn't eligible because we sort of go from Thanksgiving to Thanksgiving, so it would be up next year. Rainbow Six, that's up this year for an award because it came out in December last year. Right. Lawrence, what about you? You've been quiet over there. Any surprises?
Yeah, it's rare, isn't it? Well, to be frank, most of the nominees have fallen out of my head at the moment.
Okay.
But I do know Overwatch is up for Game of the Year, and I think
Overwatch
couldn't be more fitting.
Uncharted,
Inside,
Doom,
Inside,
lots of cool titles.
I think Overwatch is just a miraculous game. It's got people playing competitive shooters that have never even shown an interest in that.
Yes.
And that's just incredible, and it wraps in so many mechanics and interesting game design and elements. Just fantastic. From my perspective, as usual, there's some quirky, weird games that I really like that I'd hoped it would make an appearance. I really like Tron Runner.
Really?
I thought the game had a fantastic soundtrack. It was an endless runner, but it had a lot of cool mechanics. It little more complicated than Temple
Run. We teased that last year at the Game Awards, and it's a cool, underappreciated, smaller game that came out this year.
I liked it a lot. My massive infatuation with Tron certainly has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
I thought Thumper was incredible as well.
Thumper's amazing.
Yeah, just an entirely new
Working with
kind
those guys
of
on some stuff for the Game Awards, and they're an amazing team. The visuals, what they put together was great. And that's up for, I think, Best Music and VR, I think. I'm trying to remember the back of my head. So quickly, before we move on, what your pick for Game of the Year? It sounds like it'll be Overwatch for you out of the 5, right?
Gosh, yeah, probably Overwatch, even though Doom is just so good.
Doom?
It's such a weird, I guess I'm kind of more of a single-player guy when it comes to what encompasses a Game of the Year, but what if Doom had Overwatch's multiplayer? Then it would be the quintessential game.
Yes.
But because of just, I guess, what Doom means to me, I'd pick Doom for Game of the Year.
All right, what about you, John?
Probably Overwatch from that pick. I mean, like, as somebody who hasn't spent a lot of time in it, then they just got patch notes, and just like everyone's freaking out about it on social media, and it's been so many months after release. Like, that's probably a popular game.
And we're going to do a little Overwatch playing this week with some of the updates and patch, so we'll talk more about that. All right, but now we're going to move on to our next topic, and one, if not the biggest movies coming out this holiday season is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It's the first standalone Star Wars movie not tied to the episodes. We want to talk a bit about this. There have been some amazing trailers coming out for this movie over the past couple of months. You're a huge Star Wars aficionado, Jones. What are you looking forward to in this film?
I'm looking forward to seeing just the general tone of the movie. I think that's like the biggest curiosity that I have is that like if you remove all of these elements that even outside of film and all of the different like comic books and TV shows and stuff like that, there's always kind of been a way to do Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing what separates this from the other films that we're familiar with.
All right. What about you guys? Anything that you're sort of curious about? I mean, new team of characters. Obviously some hints of some familiar characters being involved in the story, but it has a different dynamic. As you
Probably
said.
the first Star Wars film I watched where I want the bad guys to win. I mean, I know they're going to win.
Hey, they're going to have to get the plans, right?
It's strange that you're rooting for Vader the whole time, but you already know the outcome. It's a kind of a strange story to tell, but I think that's sort of I'm kind of interested to see, like, what are the nuances? What are the little things that they're gonna say? Oh, that little guy with the gun who was like following the X-wings when they're landing. What's his story?
Yeah. No, it seems like it's the trailers. I mean, there's such an authenticity, and it's going back to the era of the original trilogy, and just seeing the feel of it. Even that last trailer, like Mads Mikkelsen, his character, and
they're tapping into something that I think we all our childhood definitely craved at some point, and. But it looks modern. That's the thing. It doesn't look exactly like the 1977 New Hope or Star Wars back then.
Is there? Speaking of the original three, is there a favorite for you out of all those Star Wars
Out of the films?
Yeah.
I'm a Return of the Jedi nut, just because I grew up non-ironically liking the Ewoks. Like I'll still take that stance. But just the epic standoff between Luke and Vader, the Jabba and all that sequence, the death of Yoda. There's just so many heavy moments in that movie. And it's the one I remember from my childhood because I was first one came out. I was not alive.
Watching it many times, probably on your VHS.
Many, burnt that VHS tape out for sure.
Trench Run area just starts to get all messed up. Or I guess Trench Run 2, Tube Run, whatever it's called. I don't know. Rogue One is really fascinating to me because, frustratingly, it always seemed like the coolest or most interesting parts of Star Wars are between the films.
Yeah.
So we never really get to see the Empire at play making everything terrible. They set up at 3, and then they kind of get their first big hit in 4. Yeah. And you never see that middle area where life's really crappy for everybody in the solar system. So I'm hoping that the tone of the movie will reflect that. We'll see times being really bad, and also the rebellion being really scattered and not really a force to be reckoned with. Because I imagine it was just a group of like a lot of farmers, basically. Yeah. But when the Death Star went down, suddenly, oh, these guys have a shot. And then you see them in Empire, and they're in a base, and they actually have organization and rank and all this stuff. So they become a military organization. But it'd be fun to see it rolled even back when they've got nothing. They've got no communication. They got no hope. And that's supposedly what the movie was supposed to be about, right?
Who can kick ass.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of mystery around this film, like all things Star Wars. We've seen some great stuff. It sounds like there'll be some more surprises when it finally comes out in December. And it actually right now is time to give you what you've been waiting for. One of the most anticipated movies of the year is here, and we're so excited to share this extended special look with you at Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Check it out.
If I'd known since I was 4 that I was going to be shooting a Star Wars film, I would have planned it all my life.
This film, these characters, this story I grew up with. It's a whole world I've been thinking about for quite a long time.
You can feel everyone in the crew and the cast kind of stops and just takes that in, and you remember, oh, we're actually in Star Wars.
It's like the world's greatest toy set. It's a bit like being that kid again. With Star Wars figures. Stormtroopers over here, and then this happens, there's an explosion. It's been a lot of fun. It's the greatest job in the world. Rogue One takes place very close to Episode 4. The simplest way to explain it is that text you see at the beginning of A New Hope. That is essentially our movie.
They call it the Death Star. Terrible weapon. But there's a way to defeat it.
Jin's starting to put together a team.
She wants to fight.
We all do. How many do we need?
It is an ensemble movie, but at the heart of it is a strong woman.
The time to fight is now. Every day they grow stronger.
All these characters are real heroes that are willing to risk everything.
Light the place up and make 10 men feel like 100. Through their journey, we see the formation of the Rebel Alliance and the stealing of the Death Star plans.
Anyone not willing to risk being left behind? Now's your chance to speak up.
That is a bad idea.
Hey.
Quiet. They achieve what they achieve because they achieve it together.
This is Rogue One.
Very, very cool. Don't miss Rogue One, a Star Wars story in theaters in 3D and IMAX 3D, December 16th. All right, yesterday, Nintendo of America announced a real-life escape game called Defenders of the Triforce, based on The Legend of Zelda. So this is kind of like those escape rooms that have been popular, but you're not just trying to get out of a locked room here. They're promising a bigger world with even more puzzle solving and characters and items from Zelda. The experience will have a limited tour around the country. I was not expecting the Zelda escape room.
The only one's sold out already.
Yeah.
Well, Nintendo doing like new things, like they're working with Universal Studios on theme park stuff. They're doing this escape room thing. There's obviously lots of symphony concerts. Is this something you might partake in?
I'm gonna drive to San Diego. Yeah, once I get my ticket.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Wow, there's
He's
one in
in.
San Diego?
All right.
I only saw the LA listing.
No, there's none in San Diego. Their tickets sold out. Sorry, buddy. Please don't
Oh, it
tell
hurts
Lawrence.
even more.
I wonder what the tone of this is going to be and how this is going to play out.
Well, it's in like a hotel ballroom, right? So they.
I'd actually know. Is that true? Yeah.
I think so.
Have you ever done an escape room, Jeff?
I have not. I've heard about it, and I've wanted to do it.
There's a few like varieties you can do. You've done it, right, Brandon?
We just did a Resident Evil one, yeah.
That's
Okay.
right. There was Resident Evil I got invited to that I couldn't
Which
go
really,
to.
really fits the concept of an escape room. Is that's basically
Yeah.
those games
Yeah,
where it's
exactly,
like
yeah.
not a lot of escaping. He kind of voluntarily goes into the dungeons mostly in the Zelda games. So,
But
but it's a
puzzle
puzzle-based
solving,
franchise. yeah.
teamwork, I guess, to some degree, right?
And Nintendo's booths at
Sometimes.
E3s have just been insane.
Yeah,
around
gnarly.
Zelda, even like Twilight Princess and the Skyward Sword had crazy displays. So
Their booth at E3 was probably like trialing out the escape room experience. I wonder if it was the same production company that's
I don't know.
running both.
Could be. It looks like, based on the poll, it seems like not many people are into the idea of doing this. Like 70, yeah, it was like something.
Come on, you guys are
77%.
salty. I mean, I would
People
hate
were
it too
saying
if I
that they
couldn't
weren't
go.
gonna do it, so it's like-
I don't knock it until you try it. I mean, at least do an escape room. Well, I've done a variety of them. I've done the zombie one. That was my first escape room experience. It was probably Freddie Wong. He
Yeah, of course.
called me one day and he's just like, "We're doing an escape room with a zombie. You want to come?" I don't know what this is. I've never heard of an escape room. This is years ago.
Yeah.
And it was just an actor in like a shed, tied up, and they locked the door and like, "Figure it out." And they're like, "Okay." And
Scary.
every 15 minutes the chain got looser.
Yeah.
And if the zombie touched you, you're out. You have to like sit against the wall. You can still shout things, but the idea is you're becoming infected, so you can't do anything. And we got really close, but there was something written on the ceiling that we had missed.
I'd be interested with Zelda, like how, it's a pretty family-friendly kind of franchise, so I'll be interested to see like where they go with it. But anyways, the escape room coming in 2017. All right, our next topic, speaking of Nintendo, in September, you may remember Shigeru Miyamoto was on stage with Tim Cook at the Apple iPhone event to announce Super Mario Run, a mobile game for iOS. Long-awaited moment to have Nintendo making a Mario game for iOS. Well, this week the release date was revealed and the price tag. Super Mario Run will be available through the App Store starting December 15th. The full app is going to cost $9.99 here in the US, although small portions of the game will be free. There are going to be no microtransactions. Miyamoto's view is that we shouldn't have microtransactions, but we'll charge a little bit more up front. $10 for this kind of runner game. What's your take? Fair price, Adam, do you think?
It all comes down to what the market decides, what they want. I think we've been told that $1 is what an app should cost because that is sort of
or free.
What is, and whereas Nintendo has been making premium games for years, so they say $1, go F yourself. We need to make money off of this, especially if they're not doing microtransactions. I think it makes sense, but I don't think people are going to be very positive with the price. But if I had an iPhone, I'd buy one.
One of the things I wonder about is, and I haven't played this yet, so I may be wrong, but I'm wondering about the depth of it. Because I think one of the things I found with, Miitomo that they did, the first Nintendo app, and even Pokemon Go to some degree, it's like sort of there's a lot there initially, but then it very quickly dissipates. And I think, mobile games, you tend to think you can keep going back to them. So I'll be curious with this one, how.
Like if there's an overworld or
and
anything.
Right, and like how many levels are there? How much is there sort of to really consume and play? Because if you're spending $10, hopefully there's a ton of content that you're going to be able
I'll
to
wait
go
for
through.
the Easy Allies review.
Okay, yeah.
I definitely review them. Not so much with the mobile games, but that's an interesting point.
But
is
now
that-
this is going to open up something new for
Yeah,
you,
now
right?
we have like Square Enix with the Tomb Raider franchise, and
Yeah.
Deus Ex is investing a lot more in mobile. So like maybe a couple of years.
You got to get with the times, Jones. Come
I know.
on.
Well, we'll see.
Your Patreon subs want to.
They do.
want to
This
see
is
that.
true.
I will give you $10 more a month if you review it.
Oh, man.
Sold. That's how it works right there. That's the barter system.
And if you don't give
for
it a good review,
scores.
I'll take that money
Yeah.
away. That's how it works.
But it's all about length. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
about like what am I? How long is this being played? I think like the analogy I made is like if World 2.1 is also grass, then it's over. But like if getting interesting elements and it's a good looking game.
It looks great.
great.
No. I think like this is the one that I think fans have wanted. And look, it's going to be found out very quickly. Is it worth?
If I finish it the
$10 or
day
not?
I buy it, that's not good.
We'll find out December 15th. All right, well, moving on. This season, on the show, one of the things we wanted to do was not only feature top YouTube creators like Matt Pat, Nadeshot, iJustine, who's here today. We also wanted to build that community and include some creators on the rise. Well, one of those up-and-coming creators we featured was the Domino King, a 19-year-old domino phenom who also makes elaborate domino setups inspired by video games. Now, to help celebrate the final episode of the season of Live with YouTube Gaming, we're going to be Thanksgiving next week, then the Game Awards, so we're going to take a little time down, and the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon, Christopher, a.k.a. the Domino King, created a really cool setup just for us. This is exclusive for the first time with 15,000 dominoes. He built this thing. This is absolutely insane. The setup took 3 days to build and clean up, and he didn't have any failures. He got it on the first try. But look at the insanity of what he's built at his place in Florida, just for us. This is like the amazing amount of precision as we watch this thing play out. And his channel, you got to check it out. I am so blown away every time I see what he does.
But you said it works out, but I'm still nervous.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like, and like the depth of sort of the art of this, right? It's like,
Sure, there must be some kind of tool to
I don't know.
space them out.
Too many spoilers, though. Really, I mean.
Yeah, you want the magic to stay
And
intact.
then he goes all the way around. He's got these like little fan things
No.
that spin around. and
No, you
stuff.
can't do it.
It's like,
Don't do it.
Yeah, here we go.
No,
All the
not
way.
the
We're
wall.
We're getting big.
Oh no! That's incredible.
Right? Isn't that amazing?
How?
It's like the fact that he builds that.
What have I done
and,
with
you
my
know,
life?
Halfway through, he doesn't trigger anything. It's just such an amazing setup across his whole place. And I got to thank the Domino King so much for giving us that.
Yes.
Pretty impressive. Yeah, Chris the Domino King. A bright future ahead for that kid. All right, well, thanks for being here, Adam, Lawrence, and Brandon. We'll see you guys in a little bit.